Let's discuss the next topic, scientific method. So this is the next topic of the problem solving process. So generally scientific method is the pursuing of the truth as determined by the logical consideration. It attempts to achieve the many ideas or the goals or the ideas of the science to achieve the systematic interrelation of the facts by the experimentation or the observation or the logical and the arguments for the accepted true statement. So this is the scientific method. We can able to observe by the experimentation or the observation or the such kind of the any kind of the arguments provided by the human beings. Then coming to the definition of the scientific method. The scientific method is a standardized way of making observation. So here already yesterday we have discussed just a little class regarding the quantitative and the qualitative. Quantitative is a scientific method and the qualitative is a generalization general method. Why we are calling quantitative is a scientific method means, so our study is based upon the quantitative method. So quantitative scientific method means it will be coming in a systematic and orderly manner. So let's start the definition of the scientific method. Scientific method is a standardized way of making observation. So in scientific manner, first the researcher will be observing, then gathering the data, forming theories, testing predictions and interpreting the results. So here the researcher can make the observations in order to describe the measure behavior. So here the researcher can make the many of the observation to measure the behavior of the humans or behavior of the such kind of the environment or behavior of the object or the any kind of the material. So here the researcher is going to observe. It is an organized in a logical approach to solve the problem or to solve the questions or to know the exact fact of the particular kind of the situation. So this is the definition of the scientific method. Then coming to the characteristics of the scientific method. Based on the definition and based upon the above topic whatever we have discussed, that the researcher can make the observation. So there are the few characteristics. So the first one is they are orderly and the systematic process. So the scientific process will be in an order and the systematic process. Then the second one is researcher to attain the control the external factors that are not under the investigations. So here controlling the external factors means controlling the extraneous variables, those who are not coming under our study. The researcher should have to control those kind of the external factors, those who are not coming under our study. Then the third one is their findings are based upon the empirical evidences. So here whatever the researcher is going to conduct, that should be based upon the empirical evidences. So with the particular evidence, with the particular proof of the study only, they can able to enter into the study or enter into the particular manner. So here the evidence based means that should be available for the clinical guidance for the decision making. Then the fourth one is finding the scientific method can be generalized, which means that they can be used in situations other than one under study. So here these scientific methods can be generalized. So why they are generalizing means they can able to use in the another kind of the situations. Then the next one is the scientific methods are based on assumptions or the hypothesis. So here the assumptions means future expectations, hypothesis means so showing the predicting the relationship between the two variables. Either it may be independent variable, either it may be dependent variable. Assumptions means future expectations, means expecting the future. The researcher can able to expect. See, if we are doing any work, if we are going to study, if we are studying the B.SC Nursing, what is our future expectations will be there. So in future, after my 4 years completion of the B.SC, I can able to perform, I can able to call, or I am called to be a good nurse. So you are going to assume. So here the researcher can assume. So how according to his study manner, so he can able to observe, he or she can able to assume. Then the hypothesis means showing the particular kind of the relationship between the variables. So here the variables means measurements or the quantity of the measuring of the equipments or the any kind of the procedural instruments. Then the last one, they are basically conducted to develop or the test hypothesis. So here the testing of the hypothesis. So whether the whatever the researcher has concluded the hypothesis, so whether it is in a correct manner or incorrect manner. So these are the characteristics of the scientific method. Then coming to the limitations of the scientific methods. So to conduct the study, there are the such kind of the limitations. So scientific methods are generally regarded as one of the best ways to attaining the knowledge regarding the human being as device. However, there are the some of the limitations that should be applied in our scientific approaches to the nursing problem. First one is the moral or ethical problem. So here see moral or ethical problem. Most of the nursing studies see if we are now we are going to conduct the research. Who are going to come under our study? Humans. So we would require the humans as a subject of their research. Our research. See the involving of the humans, which is essential for observing the human mentality or their expectations or their behaviors, experimentation. So this is one of the such kind of the ethical problem, that is because reliable scientific data cannot be collected, because we can't able to find out them in a in-depth manner, in-depth behavior. So by that, if they are having the interest or not, if they are not at all showing the interest, we can't able to find that. So by that we can able to find only the can't always able to collect the particular such kind of the true data. This is the first one, moral ethical problem. Then the second one is the human complexity, human behavior. See nowadays we used to observe many, not only nowadays, in previous days also, the human behaviors is very complicated, subtle and varied. So it is very difficult to categorize human behaviors. When human behavior is studied and analyzed by other human beings, the personal bias may come into our picture. So by that personal bias, so that will be destroying our study. So this is also one of the limitations of the scientific methods. Then coming to the third one, measurement problems. So here the measurement problem, different aspects of the human beings or the different psychological in the nature, they can't be accurately measured. So really it's very hard to measure in an accurate manner. Human behavior is not at all uniform, not at all certain, or it is not at all predictable. All the people doesn't have the same behavior, same thoughts and the same ideas, some way in a similar circumstances. So that the humans or the subject measurements becomes as a challenge. It is very challengeable for the researcher to measure the exact problem towards the community or towards the human beings. Then the last and the fourth one, external variable control problems. So external variable control problem means scientific studies conducted on the humans only may have such kind of the limitations. If we are going to conduct such kind of the study on the human beings, so as a researcher we will be having some of the limitations of weak or no control over the external variables in the scientific study. So external variables control problem means, so here we have to control the external variables, means those who are not coming under our study. These are the limitations of the scientific methods. Then next one, goals or the aims of the scientific research. So this is the important question, they may ask for the 2 marks. There are the mainly 4 goals. First one is the description, and the second one is the prediction, and the third one is the understanding, and the fourth one is the application. So here the first one, description, means giving an descriptive account of a descriptive manner regarding the person or the object or the material or such kind of the procedure. Then coming to the second one, prediction. So here prediction means assuming the future. So you are predicting my study is going to be complete within a successful manner. I am going to fulfill my study in a successful manner. Why you are assuming that? Because you are following such kind of the scientific methods. Scientific methods means you are following the systematic order, so that you are assuming, you are predicting the particular kind of the imaginations or the future expectations. Then coming to the third one, understanding. So here the understanding, the study sample, the researcher should understand the particular type of the what the study is going to understand. Not only the researcher, and the samples also should understand the concept. If these both will be understanding the concept, then the study will be easily feasible for all the researchers and all the study samples. And the last one is the application. So Like application means like a clinical research application, clinical procedures. So here applicable in manner, so whatever we are doing the measurements, whatever we are doing the procedure, that should be in a applicable in manner. Rather than these four, there are the such kind some other purposes or the aims of the scientific method, like control. So control means, so here the we have the researcher should control, minimize the effects of the variables. So by minimizing the effects of the variables, that may increase the his or her reliability of the study results, reliability of the study results. So by the minimizing the variables, so there will be the genuine results of the study, and also the identification of the relationship of the facts. So here they can able to identify, the researcher can able to identify the relationship of the facts. So these are the goals of the scientific research. Then coming to the scientific methods means steps of the, there are the steps of the scientific methods. The scientific methods will be depending upon the type of the study, so whether which we follow either the qualitative or the quantitative approach. So however there are the many of the steps will be involved. So the further see coming to here, there is a different kind of the, coming to here there is a different kind of the steps. First one is the question, second one is the research, and the third one is the hypothesis, fourth one is the procedure method, and the fifth one is the data, sixth one is the observation, and the seventh one is the conclusion. So what is the question? What does the scientist want to learn more about? This is the question. See, what does the researchers want to learn more about? See here, research. So subject got the there is a question and there is an answer. See, research. So if the answer, the researcher got the answer, what they have to find? They have to gather the information. So after gathering the information, hypothesis. Hypothesis means the researcher should show the two relationship between the two or more variables. So here an educated guess of an answer to the question. Then procedure method. After finding the procedure method, then here procedure method. So during the procedure method, like step by step giving the questionnaire tool. So giving the, by giving the questionnaire tool, we can able to gather the information. So how our study, questionnaire tool, then pre-test, then again questionnaire tool, and the post-test. So these are the steps will be step by step, these are the steps will be included in the procedure manner. Then the next one is the data. So whatever the data, so while giving the questionnaires only, we can able to collect the data. So here the data, during the data regarding the information collected during the experiment only. So here while writing their exam, while conducting the pre-test and the post-test, they used to give the particular kind of the information during the experiment. So after the experiment, so the researcher can able to perform the observation. Researcher can able to perform the observation. See here written description of what was noticed during the experiment. So here the during the experiment or after the experiment, the researcher will be observing what kind of the observation he has done, and at last finally they used to conclude the topic with the, was the hypothesis correct or the incorrect. See here whatever the researcher has collected shows the relationship between the two variables, that hypothesis, was it correct manner or the incorrect manner. So see here, for example, I am telling the question. So what is your question? Vitamins and mineral deficiencies among mothers. Minerals and the vitamin deficiencies among mothers. So here after knowing the exact question, then the researcher can able to start the research work, means gathering the information. So from where the researcher will be gathering the information? Only the mothers with the under 5 children. So after gathering the information, the researcher will be showing the relationship, showing them or framing the hypothesis. So whether the hypothesis dependent variable or the independent variable. So during the study time only they used to frame the hypothesis. So after framing the hypothesis, the researcher will be conducting the procedure. So procedure means like a pre-test or the post-test. If they are having the any kind of the proceduric manner, then they used to perform the procedure. So during the procedure or during the examination or during the such kind of the experiment, so they used to follow the steps like questionnaires before pre-test and the post-test. So questionnaire tools, pre-test, then like experimental procedure, then again post-test, then analyzing. So here by that they have gathered the data. So whatever the information collected from the experiment, that which should be observed, then after the observation that should be noticed to the experiment, noticed by the experiment, then conclusion. So whether the what the conclusion, whether the hypothesis was in a correct or the incorrect manner. So these are the scientific methods, steps of the scientific methods. See, not only these steps, there are the some of the major steps. So here see same steps, these slide also showing the same steps, whatever the observation the researcher should observe first, then framing of the hypothesis, then experimentation, data analysis, conclusion. See, first the researcher duty is to observe. After observing, he used to frame the hypothesis. Then after hypothesis, experimentation means experimental study. Then after conducting the experimental study, data analysis. Then after the data analysis, at last conclusion. So another, there are, see, these are the scientific method steps. So the major steps what we have to do before observation, before not only these kind of the steps, there are the many of the steps will be presenting in the scientific method. The first one, we have to select, the researcher should select the topic and identify the problem, defining the objectives of the study. So selecting and identifying the problem, then objectives of the study. So whether they are going to perform, whatever they are going to perform, that should be in a objectable manner. Then reviewing of review literature which will be related to the studies, that whatever they are going to collect the reviews, that should be only related to their studies. Then next, defining the concepts and the variables. Then hypothesis, start stating the hypothesis 1 and hypothesis 2, that should be related to the studies. Identifying the assumptions, the researcher should identify the assumptions. Then determining the ethical implications of the whatever the proposed study. Then describing, researchers should describe the research designs and methods of the data collection. There are the different kind of the designs and there are the different kind of the data collections are the present in the study. Defining the study population means study population, assessable population will be there and the target population will be there. So the researcher should be describe the study population and the sample size. So whether the sample size is 5, whether the sample size is 20, or whether the sample size is 30. Then planning the data analysis and the discussion, collecting the data from the subject. So after the collecting, analyzing and then communicating the data, then conclusion. So these are the steps of the scientific methods. So what are the scientific methods involved? So characteristics, purposes or the goals and the scientific methods and the steps of the scientific process and the limitations of the scientific methods. So this is the important question. So they may ask for the only the goals of the scientific research, they may ask for the 2 marks. What are the aims or the goal? The question will be same, goals or the aims are the same. So you have to answer the same, you have to answer the same answer for the, if they ask the goals or if they ask the aims. So this is the class. Today we have discussed the problem solving, and then after the continuation of the problem solving, this is the next topic of the scientific research. Hope that you have understanding, you are going to understand the class, and by these classes you are improving and you are gaining the knowledge regarding the research and how to conduct the research study. If you like this video, do like and share with your friends and subscribe the channel for more videos and for more updates. Don't waste time. So by hearing these classes, you can able to recollect, you can able to revise the topic, and you can able to know the new things or the new ideas. Sometimes the easiest way to solve a problem is to stop participating in the problem. Thank you all.